I welcome people from across Australia, well over 40 sites, to this Communities for Children Facilitating Partners National Forum.
Maureen and I would like to honour, acknowledge all empowered family leaders in the room who have paved the way for all of us to be strong enough to be the voice for generations in creating universal solutions for all of us who live here together today.
So we've currently got 52 sites around the country, and there are 44 sites represented here. So I think you can all give yourselves a huge clap, because that's amazing. Back in 2004, Communities for Children was first launched by the Commonwealth Government. There were 6 sites that were set up as pilot sites, if you like, across Australia. So in total now there's 52 sites that have been on this journey.
The Department of Social Services identified vulnerable sites for communities at the time when the department was launching this. So it was quite smaller place-based activities for the local specific communities.
And at the heart of it, there's always been an engagement to develop a plan with community. And that's been a really important part of Communities for Children from the beginning, making sure that the community informs what it is that we do.
It is one of those programs that has a very clear outline, a very clear guideline. If you're speaking to the people who understand what it delivers, they are delivering to the communities, to the children and the families, particularly through this program, the expressed needs of those communities.
The essence of Communities for Children is respecting the clients and respecting the people within our community for who they are and what they bring to the table. We live within those communities, so we're accountable to not only our work colleagues and our organisations, but also to the communities that we live within. So our neighbours, our friends, our families, the schools within the area that we work within. We can't get away from it, so really we are going to work much harder within those communities than anyone else ever will, because we want to hold our head high. Building that trust and building that rapport within those communities by not going to open tender is an opportunity for us to genuinely work in that space with all of the different agencies with that core focus in mind of children and families.
We're sharing things that we're really proud of in the work we're doing for children and families. What's the calendar all about?
Like most of us have talked about, it's about collecting children's voices, hearing what the kids think at the local level. So a lot of the conversation has been about not only listening to children's voices, but also trying to extend that, and what do we do after we've heard the kids' voices.
It has quite often been the case that there's no one providing a program that quite meets the gap that we found. So we bring people together, we build collaborations, and we bring agencies together to meet them. We're in a unique position as a national program in that even though we're with different agencies, we know that there are 52 sites across Australia, and we've linked up a lot over the years.
The inspiration that you get from the innovation in other locations is incredibly important to keeping the energy up for our teams as well. Being able to learn from each other, there's so much that we get from each other. It's so exciting that in our 20th year, we got to do it.
I think if we're talking about communication, I think we're talking about what are we communicating and who is our audience. And I think a lot of the questions I noticed for this panel are about reporting. Step back from reporting and think about what are we doing? What are we doing this for? What's the question? What are we trying to communicate and why?
Any opportunity to share stories, to come together with like-minded people, to spark ideas and to share ideas is an amazing opportunity. I would say that people within this conference and the Communities for Children cohort is a very supportive and very collaborative bunch.
One of the things that I got excited about was then what Dan said about unlikely allies and about finding unlikely allies, because what I want to say is that I feel like the people whose voices get missed are the voices of the children. So I think the children are our best allies, and it's not just telling their stories, but it's about giving them voice and making sure that they know that we exist because of them.
If you're having a national independent body, organisation, whatever it is going to be, that we do place work, and I do believe Communities for Children should be in the room at the table.
We understand there's real importance for individual data, and that's incredibly important. However, the work that we're doing is reaching thousands of people and it's no longer recorded. And that's really challenging when we're trying to demonstrate the outcomes that we achieve as a facilitating partner.
Stories are powerful, and often individual stories can make a lot of change. Actually, it's not all about data and it's not all about numbers. Stories make a difference, and I've been told before, sometimes just having a really powerful story is how you turn, the head of a politician and you get in their ear with a really powerful story. But I think when we're talking about reporting and making big changes, Paul's talking about thousands of pages of text, but how many stories can people read? And they all get lost if you've all got lots of stories.
I think it's really great to be able to have a national forum where you are connecting with people from other organisations who are doing similar work, but also by the very nature of the work, everyone's doing it differently because it's place-based. So the learning that you get from the interactions that you have at a forum like this is really useful, and you can't really get that learning in another way. It's very strengthening. Someone said to me this morning that they felt like their cup is filled, and I think I feel the same. It's very cup filling.
So being able to hear what other people are up to is both gratifying and inspiring. So gratifying to hear that so many people are focused on children's voice and they're doing their best to listen to children and activate children's voice.
We speak so passionately about this program because it's home. We're speaking about our homes. We're speaking about our families, our friends, our loved ones, their loved ones. We're speaking about our communities. As a young person who was overlooked, I am a credit to Communities for Children. I participated in funded programs by Communities for Children when I was 14 and 15, and through those opportunities and through that program and through being seen and heard, I now feel that it is my responsibility to share the voice of others that are often overlooked.
When we started this, the idea of community governance was new, and pulling members of the community together in order to make these decisions was something that a lot of us struggled with. As the years have gone by, we've gotten better and better at it, and we're now at the point where we're not satisfied with hearing the community. We're talking directly to children and hearing what their hopes and dreams are for their local community. We're speaking directly to families, and we're developing ways for those people to be part, not just of telling us what they want, but making the decisions.
I think it's one of the best ideas governments have to actually focus funding in the local areas where that funding is needed and let the people who live and work there decide how to use those funds. It's akin to collective impact, but it's the best way to have longevity, to have things be meaningful locally.
So what do we need to be doing as a collective network across Australia to keep Communities for Children relevant, to keep it in the conversation and to ensure that the value and the impact of Communities for Children is recognised and still talked about?
Because we want to be here in another 20 years. We want to see a forum celebrating 40 years of Communities for Children. Hopefully somebody else will organise that one.